who do you think is the number one prime candidate to be the surprise of training camp? The guy who captures everyone's hearts, kind of like last year's Trent Sherfield. No, I'm kidding, but sort of.
Wow, that is tough. I'm going to give you two names. I'm going to say Quantrez Knight, the UCLA kid who plays the corner and is really, I think, a really good football player. And then I'm going to say the San Diego State linebacker, Segun Alubi. What'd you call me? Segun Alubi runs 4.45.
Yep.
And when I watched the film, he's 225. And then I watched San Diego State's defense this year. They were terrific. So I really like, Alubi as a 4.45 linebacker who, is going to be something to watch. I mean, when you have 4.5 speed in the NFL linebacker, you're flying. When you're sub 4.5, I got to see what it looks like, man. I really am intrigued by him flying all over the field.
Okay, I think I have a prediction here, and I'm a little cynical, but it comes from experience. Usually the new Shanahan offensive weapon gets a lot of attention in the offseason. It may not translate, but
TDP?
When Kyle got Marquise Goodwin got all the headlines in the offseason. And I think Ray McLeod, people are going to be fascinated by Ray. I think he's going to have some good practices. I think he's going to be explosive. I think Kyle's going to want to use him. He's going to be involved in the offense, and people are going to talk a lot about Ray. Ray, I think is going to be. I don't know if he's going to have a big year. I think he's going to have a big training camp. Ray.
I'll piggyback that. I can envision a huge training camp for Ray and a week 1 fumble that buries him in the depth chart.
That's exactly what I'm saying. Yes, he's going to be this.
That week 1 fumble's coming,
and then you'll never hear from him again. He'll be Trent Sherfield 2.0.
He'll be like anybody but Ray. The Niners like Ray. Remember they had a Ray Armstrong?
They did. If your name is Ray, the Niners are probably going to scout you, bring you in for a workout, and seriously consider you. Maybe give you millions of dollars.
Right. Ray Armstrong, Ray McLeod.
Anyone else, man, on defense? Maybe Kevin Givens. I've liked that guy every single year. I feel like he's been steadily improving, and he might – I don't know if he can be a real great run defender as a nose tackle, but I think he's a hell of a pass rusher.
It's interesting. I'll tell you the other guy that I'm really interested to see, and I can't even make this prediction with a straight face because he's not even on the roster. He's supposedly going to get a tryout Friday at that practice you're going to, and that's the Hawaii kid, Calvin Turner. I'm a little too much of a degenerate gambler, Grant, so I've thrown Hawaii in on late parlays, and Calvin Turner is awesome. And he, in a lot of ways, I'm shocked that Calvin Turner did not get drafted. Supposedly the Niners and Ravens are inviting him to rookie minicamp, and he's accepted. He's kind of like Debo. He's smaller, but he's a running back, wide receiver, great receiver out of the backfield, and he's just a playmaker, man. He was a great college football player, so I'm looking for him to do something. He's not
I'll tell you who won't
be
the surprise of training camp. Nate Sudfeld. I've seen him before. I don't get it. I know people think they like him, but he wasn't necessarily much better than Josh Rosen last year, but people love him.
Never really saw it. I mean, I know he's got big stature. He's 6'4", but to me, the arm is underwhelming. I saw his Indiana film, watched it for a half hour, didn't see anything that I thought was like, wow. So I don't know. I don't know what to say about Nate Sudfeld other than he obviously was hanging with Trey Lance at the Warrior game the other night.
Well, if you're correct and Jimmy Garoppolo is not on this team at all in training camp, then maybe Brock Purdy will be the surprise of training camp.
What if Brock Purdy wins the job? What if Brock Purdy, Mr. Irrelevant, goes to camp and is like the best quarterback and it ain't close?
Do you think he has it in him? Is there a chance in hell that happens?
I'll say this. When I saw the pick, I went, oh, really?
Yeah.
Because I kind of thought of him as kind of a smallish guy who holds the ball too long. And I'm thinking he's a smaller version of CJ Beathard. But then when you watch the arm strength, he's got a little zip on the ball. It's not like he's not Nick Mullins.
CJ did not. No. Mullins did not. No.
Mullins
Jimmy doesn't anymore.
No. Okay. Yeah. That's why they wanted to replace him. We have to remind ourselves of that. That was the real reason.
I always like watching a glorified undrafted free agent try to make his way, and I hope he does well. Because really, Jimmy doesn't need to be there, and Sudfeld doesn't need to be there. If Purdy can be something, great. Good job. Looking forward to seeing it.
Exactly. And the cheap quarterback room is good for the roster.
It is. Most people wanted Watson, says Mr. Mogul Rye. How is Danny inferior? I don't understand.
Who's Danny?
Who's Danny?
Oh, you're talking about Christian Watson.
Oh, Danny Gray.
How's Danny inferior to Christian Watson? Christian Watson's 6'5". Yeah. Danny Gray is 6'1", I think.
Yeah.
Christian Watson, has got huge stature and great first step quickness. I think Gray's more explosive, to be honest. I think Gray's faster. I don't care what the 40 time says. I watched them both.
But Gray was there late in round 3 because he needs to prove that he's more than just like a rotational backup deep threat. Like
he had one big year.
Right.
It was Robertson at SMU that was supposed to be the guy. Gray actually was the guy this year. Yeah. But Watson wowed him at the Senior Bowl, man. And then he followed it up with the Combine. And I think he just became one of the favorites of the draft season for sure.
The Niners seem to, ever since they got Debo in the Senior Bowl, they seem to really put a lot of emphasis on that.
I like that. Yeah. If you're going to put emphasis on something, put it on the All-Star games. Don't put it on the Combine.